Hi-oh, beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Critscast. It is Monday night, but you are not going to be experiencing Highlander. Instead, we're going to be bringing you Prolander. It is the grand final of the inaugural season of RGL, brought over to Europe. Sigafu 7v7 League has reached its ultimate game to find out who is going to be taking home the lion's share of that €1,000 prize pool. We have two big teams who've pretty much been the top two seeds throughout the entire season. They're going to be contesting one final best of three to declare themselves the Prolander champions of Europe for the first time. In one corner, we have Omni5, the 7v7 division. Of course, we have seen some 6v6 versions, but this is the 7s version. The team that obviously won the Invitational Cup, the first ever European Prolander tournament. And Omni5 went away with the victory, beating Ascent in the final. Coming up against them are the only other team to be pretty much unbeaten this season, bar one loss on their record. That is Real Lads, with some familiar faces from the Sixes and Highlander scene. We've got potentially three maps for you here today. I'm CeeJaey. Joining me is Chando on the casting couch and Wiethoofd with the production. Chando, I've had a rumor that you're a bit of a 7v7 virgin, so you excited to pop the proverbial cherry?
Well, absolutely. I'm a little excited. I'm a little nervous, as you are completely correct. It is my first time, so please be gentle, Prolander. And I'm very much looking forward to this. I have no idea what I'm going into, though. I know the map, I know the players, but maybe you can tell me a little something about what this game mode entails.
Essentially, it is like it's called Prolander. We've got 7 players on each team. Like Sixes, you have, a default meta, but like Highlander, there's only one per class. And it does mean that there's a couple of classes that we'll see coming in and out as they switch for different situations. So it'll be interesting to see which players get the feel to be a little bit creative and try to switch up onto those spy and things like that. Two teams basically pick banned maps. We have a graphic, I'm sure, coming up soon, courtesy of Wiethoofd, to show you the different picks and bans. Essentially, it was Omni5, the top seeds in this tournament, picking Coalplant as their first map, I believe, Omni5 picked Coalplant and Real Lads picked Badwater. The ban from Real Lads came onto Product, the other King of the Hill map, so clearly there is some favoritism towards King of the Hill for Omni5. And the final pick was Borneo. Now, because this is playoffs, this is the grand final of the playoffs, it is going to be a best of 3 on Badwater payload. Coalplant is going to be first of 3, essentially a best of 5 like we see in most leagues. However, the final decider map, if we get to it, Borneo is just going to be a best of 1. So that'll be something to take into consideration. So once we got past the pick ban system, Chando, we also have a pick ban system on weapons too. Now, the default ban in the RGL League is that the Machina is not allowed, but both teams are allowed to pick, as in save, some weapons, and they're also allowed to ban some weapons, and that is done map per map. So obviously on payload maps, you might want to ban different things. Coming onto the Coalplant ban, we can see them on screen now, and we have the bans coming in from Real Lads. They decided to ban the Iron Bomber and the Mad Milk. Omni5 wanted to get rid of the Wrangler and the Degreaser. Then we see some saves. Real Lads deciding to keep the Gunslinger in play and the Gunboats. Obviously wanting their engineers to maybe have a bit of a potential on this map and keep that maneuverability for the soldiers. Sandwich and Ubersaur saved for Omni5. While we see Tomislav, Kritzkrieg, Crusader's Crossbow, and Fists of Steel all banned. So those are the kind of weapons. Everything else is available. Everything else is free to use. But yeah, that's essentially 7v7 in a nutshell, Chanda. The rest of it is just the good old classic TF2 that we know and love. And I'm just going to quickly start off. I'm going to take on one roster, Chando, and you can take on another. We've got basically Omni5 is probably more well known as the Failer Esports roster that has finished runners-up in ETF2 World Premiership 2 seasons on the trot. Also, Platinum champions in UGC recently, so plenty of caliber there. We've got Viljack on Scout, Middle on playing Soldier, V-Clocks on Pyro, Joe or JN on Demo, Poker or Pozka on Heavy, Layla on Medic, and Proki on Sniper. Of course, those classes may be subject to change as the game goes on, but do you want to tell me about the players on the Real Lads roster?
Absolutely. So we've got Kunu playing the sniper class, Nubby going to be playing soldier, Strono playing pyro, Murphy playing demoman, Eleski playing heavy, Sprayer playing the medic class, and Mezzo probably going to be on a spy. I'd be surprised if he played anything else. But obviously, I suppose you can swap your classes around, so it's a little more tactical than just playing one class. But it looks like we are going live here now in this RGL Prolander Grand Finals. Straight on to the midpoint here. And it's going to be a nice bomb in from Nubby. He's going to get onto the back lines. We might be seeing him a little bit later. And Kunu gets the first pick onto Joan. Brilliant find there. He is found out himself by Viljack. Damage has been done though. But they are losing a lot of ground here as Polska just flings forward along with V-Clogs. They find Sprayer and Eleski. Nubby gets caught out, but Layla is going to go down in the process. Nice pick there by Mezzo, who is indeed going to be playing that scout class. It's not something you see every day. First point so far to Omni5.
Absolutely. It looked like it was going wrong for them there. They lost their demo and their sniper. Two really powerful classes in TF2, especially in this game mode, and the likes of Highlander too. But then the rest of the players just walked across the point, took that ground. Sprayer goes down! There was equal Ubers, but Sprayer has gone down to a body shot from Proki there. We see plenty of pressure on the point from Real Lads, but they're getting flanked here. Aleski does manage to take down Polska, and Layla has gone down. They haven't actually kept the point. We're going to see a bit of cleanup coming in, and the only person alive now is Sprayer. So essentially, they traded about, 60% cap time on the point, but it cost them their medic, it cost them a lot of their players, and it's just ticking off the time here. See, Middle and Viljack are alive, and I think those two players are going to be really important here, Chando, because they're capable of really, winning those DM fights and just kind of cleaning up the fights at the end, as Oleski is another casualty, as Real Lads are trying to repush the point here with a minute down on the clock.
Absolutely, they have a fairly good opportunity here, but that bomb from Middle might cause some concern. He is caught out. Does get taken down. Kunu and Nubby, whoever went down. V-Clock just storming forward, doing so much work for his team there, followed up by Polska. He finds Sprayer actually to the WM1. What a casualty for him. And it's not looking too great for the Real Lads squads here. And Omni5 just playing a very kind of aggressive stance here. Joan on that point there. Point from Nubby. 2 rockets and finds Layla. I couldn't ask for much more. But can he? No, he loses the melee battle to JN. Loses Murphy and LSK as well to Pozgo, who was playing a nice little flank roll there. Sprayer now is going to have that 30% advantage, makes one surf away as Middle is found out, and they're going to recapture the point.
They've captured the point, but they've got 3 players down, and those players now have worse spawns. So it's going to be pretty easy for Omni5 to push it, but they lose Viljack, so that scout is not going to be in this fight. Nubby's actually bombing, doesn't realise that Layla's alone. She's running the needles there, just trying to get a bit of damage down, but Strono and Nubby take up 2 big kills there, so it's really going to help. But Middle's going for the bomb, nice shot there. Murphy actually dies in the end to the headshot from Brokey, and then Kunu responds in kind, takes down Layla. So Omni5, what looked like a really good repush here, have actually managed to capture the point, but it's costing their entire team. And now Sprayer has 100% Uber. Layla is dead for another few seconds. Huge ad here for Real Lads, and a good opportunity for them to try to get back into the game. Viljack's trying to fight this point, and he's just getting some damage down with Joe, but they have to back off here and wait for their respawns.
Definitely looking like Real Lads have a real opportunity to hold this and take back some points, much needed for them as well. Playing that passive role at the moment here, not trying to give anything away, not trying to lose their advantage there. Kunu finds Proki and JN goes down as well, but Sprayer's going to get forced by Middle. Brilliant bomb by him, going to get led by Mezzo. Strone just kind of Wing forward there, trying to get some work done. Does find V-Clocks. I don't think that's what he wanted. Now playing a nice little sneaky role here on the back lines, going around to the spawn. No one's seen him. Can he find Layla? Finally, Layla turns around and he's instantly completely minced there. But nice try nonetheless. Now pushing in to from the left side is Omni5 here. Joen wasting no time, trying to put some stickies down. Another bomb by Nubby. Finding Layla once again. Someone has to deal with that threat there. It's going to be Polska, but it's already too late.
Oh, Middle!
And Middle going to do the same though. Finding Sprayer. Kunu gets taken down as well. LSK's the only one left. He finally gets taken down along with Murphy, and they're going to capture this point.
The thing is, in Highlander, on this map, you're quite happy in just sending a soldier over to suicide for the medic. But once you've done that, you've given up total control of the upper area. And Nubby's gone in and killed the medic. But then there's 7 players against 6. And then Middle just bombs in, does exactly the same. And they're able to kind of clean up the fight. But Real Lads have chalked off so much time here. Let's not forget that Omni5 had about a 2-minute advantage at the start here. Had a really strong showing. And now it's looking very, very close. Only about 10 seconds in it as they're getting pressure here. Viljack and Middle combining, but both are going to go down. They're not getting really much done. And Kunu with the headshot onto Layla. They're just getting cleaned up here. Mezzo in behind, still in that scout burst. He's going to take a pipe there. And Vclock's trying to get some damage down onto Murphy, but cannot do it. 3 alive for Omni5 as Real Lads take the lead on this map. Joe dies very late. He's going to be up later than the rest of his team, and they still have Sprayer to contend with. He's ticking over with the Ubercharge, gets to that 100%. That is a massive wall for Omni5 to deal with. They have to get rid of that and win the DM fight and recapture the point, and they got a time loss at the moment, Chando.
So many obstacles for Omni5 there. They do find Murphy and Mez, however, and Posca now wasting no time trying to get onto the point there. Is Sprayer going to deal with it? Yes, he is. Using to use that Uber there. Kunu does get caught off, and Stronach not making the best out of the situation. He's caught out big time. He falls. LSK and Sprayer falls. Nice picks there by Viljack. Time 7 on the point. They're going to claw that back. Nabi comes in with the bomb. Finds one rocket onto Layla, but it's not quite enough.
That first rocket.
He's going to get away.
That first rocket just was misdirected. It didn't land at Layla. If he'd shot that first rocket as he landed at Layla, instead of trying to kill someone else, he would have killed the medic. He had enough damage potential there, but Omni5 doing a great job here, and this is going to be a DM fight. Layla has 100% Uber. She has Uber already. Nubby with that bomb. He gets denied this time. Layla has worked it out, and she's backed off into lobby, and Vclocks is going to deny that with ease. That is going to be a 6v, actually make it 6v6 now as Posca has gone down to Mezzo. Middle getting really aggressive here, just trying to make some space for his team. Vclocks is going to walk forward, just set everybody on fire, but it's costing him his life. Uber is used, and Joe is trying to clean it up here. It's 3v3. Kunu and Nubby have to fight against Joe and Layla, but Vclocks comes in from behind. The Pyro is there. It doesn't matter if you take down the medic, if the Pyro is just going to hold that mouse one and take it. And wow, Omni5 looking extremely strong at the start here, Chando, but Real Lads showing, hey, they're not here to just make up the numbers.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a close one here. Really impressed by Vclocks' performance there especially. I wasn't really expecting much of him. He just kind of ran forward there. I thought he was going to get completely minced, but he proved me wrong there as Sprayer instantly getting taken down to the body shot. Kunu, Strono, LSK, all dead. Not good looking great so far for the Real Lads. They lose Murphy as well there. Nubby on the back lines. He's probably going to get caught out there. Layla is going to escape with her life. They seem to have sussed out Nubby's strategy here, which is just to constantly throw his life to try and find Layla's, and they're repelling him pretty well at the moment here. One of my concerns was the lack of a mini sentry perhaps might have offered a soldier a lot of freedom on these bombs. They don't have to worry about taking all that sentry damage, but to be honest, Omni5 are doing a really good job here at denying Nubby. It took them a while, but I'm really glad to see that they know how to deal with it. They have had to back up a little bit now as Real Lads just putting a bit of time onto point, but Layla with that Uber charge, I'd be surprised if she didn't use it here. She does get piped and have to pop it off early. Then they go on to Joe and Vclocks. They're going to storm ahead. They find Mezzo. Can they find anyone else? Yes, they do. Wow.
The Joe zone. You're in the Joe zone, Sprayer. I've said this before. Every demo in this game will go a certain distance with that Uber, and then he'll think, you know what, I'm going to back off, back to the safety of my medic's Uber charge beam, and I'm just going to stay alive. No, if you are Joe, you leap forward into the Joe zone and you just try and kill. You just hold that W key, and that's what he does. Teams need to learn this. Joe's been doing this for like 5 years now as Nubby goes for another bomb here. Joe is going to respawn in time for this fight. They've captured the point, but they are at an Uber disadvantage right now. And Aleski's gone down. Posca coming in from behind, gets so much damage down, and Viljack surely just going to clean everybody up. He loves weak players. Wow, that's a 3k from the scout, and look how they just destroy them. Layla with an Uber advantage again, and wow, it's just insane how teams, they know what Joe's going to do. They know that he has no care for his life or anyone else's. He will go forward and he will fight to the death to try and get that medic frag, and teams need to be more aware of it.
Oh, you're absolutely right there. Joe's one of a kind demo man, I think, in Highlander and in Prolander, clearly. Just absolutely no fear. He's not willing to, try and... He doesn't care if he loses his life, as you completely said there. Another one by Nubby. Instantly gets taken down. Actually, that was LSK and Mezzo there. Now they're going to get out with his life. No, he's not. He lands straight onto some Joan traps there. They're going to be holding this pretty comfortably at the moment. It's Murphy v Joan, Demo 1v1. Stronny follows up, trying to get some space in. They have to back up though. They can't deal with those stickies. And it seems like everyone's not playing passive, but Joan, absolutely not. He is on that point. And Viljack finding Sprayer. Very nicely done there. Going to offer no heals, and surely they can play a little bit more aggressive now. They surely have to, as they find Nubby and LSK there. Py-bun from middle, getting some good damage in. Find Mezzo, and Stronny going to go down as well, along with Kunu. It's just Murphy and Sprayer on the respawn now. And they don't have a lot of options here. They got to wait for their team. Just putting out some light spam, but not looking great for Real Lads. It seems that Omni5 have really shaped up. They've really warmed themselves up a little bit. I'm looking forward to see how they progress here.
It's really smart play. I mean, they killed the medic, they killed Sprayer, and then they just played it slow. They played it as a blob, and they're just playing it slow and picking up frags one by one. Now they can get aggressive. Huge Uber advantage. Viljack is going to get on the chase, and yeah, absolutely takes down the medic there. It's really hard for Real Lads to get into the game if they're going to be losing their medic like this, because they have to put pressure on the point, but in putting pressure on the point, they're giving the opportunity for the enemy team to get a frag onto their medic, and if you lose your medic, it's very difficult, as Layla does go down actually. Middle picks up a couple of frags there. He's on a 6k right now, but it doesn't matter. Everyone else has to walk onto the point, and when you've got that minigun revved up and Viljack standing on the point, people are scared to run into him right now. He is outscoring everybody else on the server, as we do go to 2-0, and that is the first half. So it is a best of 5. We'll be playing till a team reaches 3 points, but that first half, Omni5, like I said, playing it smart. And Real Lads, you get into that situation, we see, no matter what the game mode is, when you're behind on the time in the King of the Hill, you have to start taking a few more risks. Start coming out with your medic, trying to take that space and get some frags. And at the moment, Omni5 are playing really solidly around their team, and they're getting a pick. It might not be the medic pick, but they're killing a heavy or they're killing a scout. And when you're one player up in this situation, it's just so good to play as a unit. And, you know, the team that this sort of, this Omni5 roster is based around, the Phaler team, were very, very good at Coal Plant in Highlander, as recently as sort of Highlander Season 14 in ETF2. They've shown in UGC as well that they're extremely good. These guys have played with each other for a long time. And like I said, they won that invitational early tournaments, and they've shown themselves to be the team to beat at the moment. I mean, what do you see Real Lads need to do to get themselves back into this?
I think the biggest problem with Real Lads at the moment is that they are feeding a lot of players. For example, Nubby, he's been getting some good picks, don't get me wrong, but every time he goes down, that is one player less. And in Highlander, you might be able to get away with it, but in a 7v7 environment, that one player is crucial. He's wasting his life way too much, in my opinion, there. He needs to time it better, because every time he's going down, he's just giving the opportunity for Omni5 to just storm forward onto the point with that player advantage there. And that's not really a good thing, especially in this 7v7 environment, as I said. But we are going to be going live into the second half now. 2-0 to Omni5 thus far, but it's not over yet as we get ready on the rollouts. No team changes here. Still going to see Omni5 in blue. Still going to see Real Lads in red as we get to the mid-fight here now. Middle instantly going to go down to Kunu, wasting no time. Viljack going to run onto the backlines, offering a lot of distractions. A lot of the team players of Real Lads have sort of had to fall back for him. He does find Kunu, however. But on the front lines, Mezzo and LSK just storming forward there. They find Polska. Looks like it's going to go in favour of Real Lads so far.
Yeah, they've taken control of the top of the point, and Middle with the bomb, he gets choked up. Wow, insane air shot from Nubby, but it's not enough to stop Middle from taking down Sprayer. Both medics died pretty much simultaneously there, as Layla was trying to hide underneath with Vclox and Joe, but she does go down, and in the end, actually, Omni5 are going to be the ones to capture that midpoint after only 13 seconds of cap time for Real Lads. As, you know, they had some early picks. Kuna got a great early pick there, but he was just focused. It's just not much kind of protection coming down onto him. And he's dead again, just respawns now. And I feel like Real Lads need to play this a little bit more slower. Like, they need to just play around their sniper, play around other players. As Proki takes down Sprayer, they're just walking onto the point, Chando. They're just giving Omni5 the opportunity to farm. They just need to play around Kuna. He's been hitting shots. Play around your demo. You know how much damage Murphy can do. Do that, get some picks, and then you can win the DM fight when you've got 1 or 2 more players. But at the moment, they're just throwing bodies forward, and they're just handing an uber advantage to Layla on a plate.
Yeah, absolutely right. And while she's playing, there's such a passive playstyle from Omni. They can bait in the rest of Real Lads here. As soon as they go onto the point, they start taking damage immediately. They start losing some players, and then Omni, start just rushing forward, as we've seen right now here, as Kunu, Nubby, and Strone go down, 2 of which to CeeJaey. He's playing absolutely at the top of his game at the moment here. LXKey as well is going to follow along with Mezzo, another frag to CeeJaey, just leading the charge. Can he find Murphy? No, he can't, but Poker will. And yeah, I mean, as soon as they finish that push, they're back on that passive playstyle, playing all the way back in that lobby area. And I gotta say, it's working out for them. They can't, Real Lads just cannot wheedle their way in. As soon as they try for a push, they take so much damage on the way in there. And that's when Omni just start pushing in and they bully them back out. And the process is being repeated over and over again. Real Lads really need to try and shape up their strategy here. Maybe taking a different approach, playing on the right side or something, offering maybe a better sniper angle. I'm not really too sure. But, I mean, they're the experts here. They need to think of something.
Definitely, they lose a couple of players here. And, you know, it's in this situation. There we go. Kunu getting a headshot onto Joe. So that is demoed down now. They can take the space. You take a look at Omni5. They don't really want to fight this, but actually, no, they do. They just want to CeeJaey. CeeJaey's going to take the most of it. He's going to run forward, trying to get as much kills as he can, as Wiethoofd is the one to take down Murphy. He's chasing down the rest of the players, but they realize they can't actually take anyone else down, as Real Lads have regrouped, and this is the opportunity they've had. They kept their medic alive. They got a pick, and now they can walk forward. Kunu gets another headshot onto Posca. This is what they need to be doing, playing it slow, playing as a unit, walking forward, and they get the cap. 34 seconds left for Omni5. If they manage to cap that and win it, they will be taking this first map. But CeeJaey coming in from behind to take down Murphy. This guy is going nuts right now, and when you allow it to be chaotic like this, and you're losing a couple of plays each fight, the scouts are going to run riot. And CeeJaey is just having, you know, an absolutely insane game right now. And look at Joe. He's not scared to walk forward. He's got Wiethoofd for company. Middle goes in for the bomb. Just trying to get some pressure onto the sniper. The Uber is used. But look how much time they've got on the point. As long as Layla gets out here, this is going to be really good for them, as Nubby's not deciding to go deep. And this is the difference, Chando. This is the difference. Layla's not going to stay alive, so I'm just going to eat my words and say Real Lads are doing well.
I heard you were saying as long as Nubby doesn't go too deep, instantly does a super deep bomb and then finds Layla, and that's probably the one time I think his sack play had really been beneficial for the team there. It was the perfect time for it. They had a very successful Uber there, all things considered. The only problem was Layla was going to get away. She was going to have that Uber advantage. We just completely denied that. So, you know, credit where credit's due. He did really well there. As Middle comes in with a similar style bomb there, not to as much effect as Strano finds him. CeeJaey trying to follow in as well here, gets blasted back into the safety of his medic. Mezzo's going to get picked off, and they're just going to walk straight onto the point and take it. And I really don't know how that even happened. Where is the defense coming out from Real Lads? It's there now, but they've already lost there's only 20 seconds left now. Omni5 could easily claw this back. There's Layla coming into 70% now. She just has to stay alive for a little bit longer. Try and find that exit, and she does. In fact, they get the force off as well. That's really well played there. They now have to play super defensive, Real Lads, as Layla coming into 100%. In fact, that's exactly what she's got. They can just walk this straight in with 16 seconds left. Is looking very, very comfortable for Omni.
It is at the moment. 16 seconds. They just need to use this Uber effectively. They're going deep with it. CeeJaey is taking the majority of it just to get that speed right into them, and it's forced Real Lads out. They have managed to get a kill here. CeeJaey picks up 2 kills. Can he pick up more? Murphy was so weak. He almost got 3 kills there just by running into them. But Kuno on a 5-kill streak does get the kill onto him and survive. So this is all about Real Lads with the repush. They need to do it soon. They have got 5 seconds. They need to touch that point. Nubby is on top. Sprayer runs on. Aleski comes forward, but it's not going to be enough. It is, in fact, going to be Omni5 taking the second half, 1-0, 3-0 in total, a clean sweep on this map, and just really showing their strength in this game mode. And Real Lads, I don't know, have to go back to the drawing board and really consider what they're going to do for the next map, because so far Omni5 look insanely strong.
Oh, quite right. I think one thing they might be able to do, I want to see some Mezzo Spy, to be fair. I think he was the player of the season and Spy the season, if I'm not mistaken, for 15. And I mean, honestly, why are we not seeing that? Coldplant, sorry. It kind of favors Spy a little bit, and it would have been good to see if he could get any good stabs, find an opening there. I don't know how really successful he was on Scout. I wasn't seeing any particularly amazing plays from him, which I know that I could see on him playing Spy. So maybe we'll see something different on Badwater, probably a much more necessary Spy map, and that would be a good thing. I think that could be what Real Lads need to sort of turn this around, because that sort of lack of a good pick class there. I mean, Kuna was doing a pretty good job, but he was getting denied a lot by Viljack. Having that Spy in the back lines could just agitate them enough just to give Real Lads the edge. I think that's what they're going to need to try and reclaim this grand final.
Absolutely. I mean, we're taking a look at the logs from the game at the moment, and we've got the first half there. Obviously, it was a 2-0, and you just take a look at the frags and damage coming in from Viljack. 23 kills to 7 deaths, 448 damage per minute. I mean, he's pumping out absolutely insane numbers on this King of the Hill map. I mean, when it comes to damage, Joe actually just slightly more there, going 480. Poker also going over 400 DPM. So these guys just putting out insane numbers. If your demo is just pumping out that much damage and your scout is just running around, not only putting out great damage as well, but just cleaning up all the kills, it's really hard for you to get any sort of momentum going. And that's what I felt I saw. Like Omni5, there were times where they lost their medic, like at the end there where Nubby went really deep. Lately wasn't well protected, and there was openings like that for Real Lads to work around. But I felt Real Lads weren't taking the opportunity to play it slow and use their strengths. Kunu and Murphy could have, just sat there, got some good damage down, got some picks. If you're creating a distraction for your team, that allows your soldiers to go in deep. Middle wasn't going in and just bombing all the time. That's like sort of something that people have said about him in Highlander for failure in the past, that he just launches in and goes for these medic bombs. He was waiting until his team was in the fight, then he was going in deep. And once you've got a soldier in your face, and then you can see just beyond the horizon the entire combo walking onto you as well, it's very difficult to stay alive. And sort of you have this situation where, Nubby was jumping in, and then Real Lads decided to walk forward. And the second half was pretty much the same. Viljack, again, only person to get double figures on the frags, going 12 for 6, 572 DPM as a scout. This man is just nuts. And it's very difficult to kind of fight against that.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a reason why the Scout, I think it's widely considered one of the most powerful classes, especially on a map like Coal Plants. Basically any Koth map, the Scout can do just incredible amounts of work, damage, frags, mobility, just everything. It's so much in a Scout's favour on a King of the Hill map. And Viljack really playing that up. I don't know if he's going to have the same kind of success and be able to flourish as much as he did on Coal Plant as he will on Badwater. Again, like the Scout's job more of a cart pusher than anything, I think it's safe to say. And this could make things a bit difficult for Viljack. Maybe he'll change it up. Maybe, he's a very well-renowned spy as well, much like Mezzo. And I think both of them might be opting for maybe more of a spy role, perhaps. I guess we'll have to wait and see here. But ultimately, if he chooses to stay on that scout role, I think he's going to be limited. His performance is going to be completely less so than Coal Plant, just due to the actual role of a scout on a map like Badwater here. I mean, CeeJaey, what do you think about the class setups for this map? Do you think they're going to be playing a similar setup, or do you think they're going to try and tailor it more to a payload environment?
I think absolutely guarantee there's going to be Engineer. We see Engineer traditionally in 7v7 on the defense. There's no need for a scout on the defense. So you do have that potential for a scout to run around and destroy people, but it's much more helpful to have an Engineer up and have a sentry, have a level 3, and just kind of really just be another wall to deal with. On the attack, it'll be interesting to see. Like, we've talked about Viljack and Mezzo playing Scout in that previous game. Both of them well known for playing Spy as well. Viljack, one of the best spies in Europe. Mezzo, like you mentioned earlier, Spy of the Season and Player of the Season last year in Season 15 for Wiethoofd. So I expect on the attack, we're going to see some spy plays just to kind of make this opening, go for the saps, and maybe try and go for a cheeky backstab here and there. But also, you do need that kind of potential to push the car as well. We do have different picks and bans for the weapons for this map as well. So obviously we saw the picks and bans regarding weapons for King of the Hill. So things like the Gunslinger were banned, stuff like that, just to maybe reduce the viability of Engineer on that map. we're going to see different kind of scenarios happening here. So we take a look at the bans. We see the Degreaser, the Wrangler, the Iron Bomber, and the Mad Milk are the first ones to be moved. Iron Bomber we saw earlier, but the lack of a Wrangler is really going to nerf the potential of an Engineer on the defense. You know, that Wrangler with the shield, you know, the aiming is sort of irrelevant. The essentially auto aims for you most of the time. The aiming is just an added bonus. But that shield to just tank a little bit more damage really makes it difficult to take down a sentry, even in things like Highlander, where you've got a lot more classes attacking it. So in sevens, without a Wrangler, those sentries aren't going to survive much longer. We see the Crusader's Crossbow actually saved this time by real lads. They obviously want that healing ability. Boston Basher, Sandwich, Gunboats, all saved. And we see no Rescue Ranger. So again, Omni5 deciding they don't want to have a tanky sentry to deal with. I think that's really smart. They clearly are a very DM-based team. They have a lot of potential, and removing the ability to have a tanky sentry there is really going to nerf the ability to have sort of a turtley hold here. So interesting bans coming out of both teams, but I think Omni5 have definitely won it in their favor there. Another point, as we are about to go live, talking about the seeds, these were the top 2 seeds coming into the grand final. They made their way through the upper bracket, beating out the remaining teams. Omni5 finished top. They finished top without losing a game. Real Lads was second. They lost 1 game. That 1 game they lost, Chando, was in week 1. It was on Badwater, and it was to Omni5. So, you know, that story is painting a picture here for Omni5 to really go ahead and take this in a clean sweep 2-0 in the grand final. I think Real Lads are going to have the game of their lives to get back into this final.
Oh, they're going to have an absolute struggle here. It's not. I got to say, it's not looking great for them. Just by what you said about the pick and ban of the weapons, to be fair, it seems like Omni5 just put so much thought behind their strategy, even in the bans itself, as you said, like getting rid of that tanky kind of sentry setup, no Rescue Ranger and no Wrangler, is going to make things a lot easier for sort of Joe's momentum, and he's got a very momentous strategy and meta. He will just, any excuse to try and push forward, he will make it happen. And this is going to make it even easier. Not having that tanky sentry. Sentry's going to go down very, very quickly with the combination of Joe and Middle's projectiles. And once that happens, there is no reason why Omni5 cannot just absolutely storm ahead. And I mean, I've seen it happen so many times when Phaela have been playing, how well they can handle this map, if they can get the momentum. If they get stuck, that's where it can become a problem for them, trying to find that pick. But once they've got that momentum, they are very, very good at keeping it going all the way to last. And not having that tanky sentry is just going to do absolutely wonders for them here. So I'm going to be seeing like how they're going to be doing the setup here. So it is going to be Mezzo playing Engineer on the defense. Looks like everything else is much the same though. And meanwhile on the attack, we're going to see Middle playing Spy with... No, he's back to Soldier now, my apologies. And Viljack's still playing the Scout role as well. So it seems like the same setup for them. So the only difference is that Sentry on defense, which is, as you predicted, CeeJaey. It looks like we're going to be going live though now as the doors swing open, the bomb straight in, wasting no time. Joan on the sticky jumper just jumps right to the backlines and onto the roof. He is well away. Meanwhile on that front line, Middle does get found out and finished off there by Kuno. And the bomb's back in from Joan. They forgot about him. 1 bite, not a second. He does get caught up. A really nice bomb there by him, CeeJaey.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit more coordination would have been better there. Middle was kind of baited by that play by Joe, and V-Clocks came in slightly later, so Joe was baited by V-Clocks. If the 3 of them had gone in together, I think Spray would have at least had to have forced there. We see V-Clocks running that jetpack, the thermal thruster, to get a little bit of elevation as he comes in with Middle now. This is the coordination! And they do get destroyed, but they do get the force onto Spray. He's down to less than 50 HP, and we see Viljack, you know, actually still running the scout in spawn, but we saw it was actually Poker and sort of I think it was Joe on the cart there, just trying to get some cap time. Viljack now just getting that cap time, so he's sticking on the scout, deciding he doesn't want to go for the spy plays. He just wants to get aggressive and take down the sniper there, and then get some more cap time. And at the moment, he's not really being contested, lobbing up that Christmas ball to give some festive bleeding to Aleski. But you can just see here, oh, they're going to get caught out. Aleski and Spray are in the corner. Uber comes in, and this is practically a wipe. Nubby desperately trying to run away there. Kunu is going to be the only person alive as he respawns. but really well played there by Omni5. Getting the force, knowing that sentry is not going to survive. It has no Wrangler, no Rescue Ranger. You can just throw a couple of rockets at it and it's going to die. But wow, Kunu takes down Joe, and that's going to slow down this third push as they try to roll this chando. Like you said, Joe likes to keep going forward, but Layla goes down. Murphy peeking his head out the door seconds before it gets locked. We know how he can throw those pipes. He takes down Layla. Uber advantage for Sprayer and a chance for them to get back into this game and just settle things up. But now they don't have an NG.
They've definitely slowed down a lot here as Poker falls, along with Viljack, Kunu really turning up now on that 3k down the track line here. Nubby's going to have to back up a little bit as Omni5 starts to regroup on the second point here. But this is probably the hardest point on Badwater to take. And the fact they've been slowed down here is really important to Real Lads. They're going to be able to get a really good setup here now. I don't know if they... doesn't look like they are opting to run the sentry anymore either, with Meza going back onto Scout. And Joe just kind of walking forward and losing that 1v1. But Sprayer going to get back... headshot, by Procky. And loads of frags now, only 3 up, as LS Key's looking very weak as well here. Kind of caught out. He's not going to be much good. He's trying to eat that Savage. Finally, he's still up. He's still fighting. But maybe not for long here, as Nubby as well on the flank, trying to halt that cart progression. But really nice picks there by Proki, actually. Someone jump on that car. There we go. And they're going to be able to take the third and probably hardest point, looking very good for a final push.
Absolutely, 2:56, less than 3 minutes for the first 3 points is extremely fast, no matter what game mode you're playing right now. Proki in the window, trying to get an angle here, but doesn't really have to get a pick. He does take down Kunu though. It's on a 5 kill streak at the moment, and Layla has that 100% in the bank. She's ready to come in and do some damage with her team. Proki is the furthest one forward. He's not scared, showing no fear, but they come in through the stairs. This is Badwater Pro. Of course you can go in through the spire from behind. Real Lads totally caught out there. Nubby is on Spy. He switched off from Soldier to try and get a backstab and keep his team in the game here. But it doesn't matter. Sprayer gets taken down. Headshot there from Proki. 7 kill streak for this man. They're all just standing on the cart right now. Kunu is in one alive. He has to back off into spawn. Cheeky bind to switch back up, but no, middle goes in. Does a bomb. Layla with the frag onto the sniper. And that is going to be a 3:49 time for Omni5. We talked about how they were the team to beat coming into this league. We talked about how they were the team to beat coming into the playoffs, and how they look so strong on this map in week 1 against this very team. And round 1 at the moment, it really looks like Real Lads have to do something, I don't want to say miraculous, but they really, really, really need to have an absolutely insane round to beat this time. I don't know, Chando. I mean, did you see anything that went wrong there from Real Lads, or was it just kind of great coordination from Omni5?
I gotta say, it's more on Omni5's coordination there, and some good frags. I don't think there are many of the Real Lads players that were particularly playing out of line. LS Key, along with his medic on the first point, I think were in the wrong position. They should have backed out a little sooner. Having that medic may have given them a better setup on second, or slowed them down a little bit, maybe given them time to set up on third a little better. But ultimately they had the opportunity, but just the momentum from Omni5 and the picks, the ability to get those picks so quickly, I think is what caused them to have such a humiliating time for Real Lads, and humiliated I think they have been as they go into this attacking round now, having to beat that 3 minutes and 40 odd seconds. Let's see how they try and play this out here. The bomb comes in by Murphy. They are going to pop off that force very quickly, quicker than Omni5 in fact. So that's pretty well done. No sentry as well, probably made that a little easier, as Procky does find Kunu. Now with the respawns coming in, we may be seeing an Uber exchange here. They didn't lose that many players, and if they can hold on, if Omni5 could hold on to all their players here, they could still defend this pretty well, but it's looking good for Real Lads so far.
Absolutely. One thing to note, no engineer for Omni5. Viljack sticking on that scout class. We talked about how he may be sort of nerfed a little bit. We see more Nubby missing that second rocket. Oh, what a headshot from Kunu! The juggle up from Nubby. That was merely the assist for Kunu to land the headshot. He also gets one to Poker as well. Joe is the furthest one forward. He's got 17 HP, trying his best. He gets actually that's a pipe one to Kunu. If he hadn't been, getting healed there, he would have surely gone down. Sprayer could go down into middle. He does. The banner is being popped off, and that's going to keep his team in the game. as the medic has gone down. It's going to allow an uber advantage for Layla. 2:29 around that time now for Real Lads to push this all the way to last. Going to be very difficult as they do have an uber disadvantage. I don't think Layla actually died in that first round at all, or maybe she died once from Murphy on that second point. But you know, you really need to keep your medic alive if you want to roll this forward. But take a look at Nubby. Wow, trying to get forward there, trying to get some forward aggression, and just gets taken down by Brokey. But Kunu's going to like, hey, you can headshot, I can headshot, and he takes on Joe. So might be interesting to see this push as Postgre also goes down. So two meaty classes out of the equation here for Omni5. Pierogi trying to keep his team in the game by taking out the enemy Putis. But it's going to be interesting to see how Real Lads decide to push this. They haven't got much time to play with, and they've also just lost their demo man.
They've just been feeding so much. They had such an opportunity after Kunu finding some good frags there, but they're just feeding frag after frag to Proki, and he is gobbling them up. The absolute legend that he is. And yeah, it's really slowing it down for Real Lads, and time is not on their side at the moment. They're going to have to maybe commit to this dry push here as Proki finds another one onto LS Key. Absolutely turning up now on this third point, and finally getting found out by Kunu, and maybe providing an opening much needed for them. Nubby now on the flank, putting some rockets out, and Viljack's first to respond, finds one meat shot. Nubby's so weak, finally gets caught up by Poker. Joan and Vclox both go down as the Ubers are exchanged, probably in favour of Real Lads. They might have to back this up a little bit. Viljack using that as an opportunity to try and fall back here. He's very weak, does get found out by Strano, and he has, however, given Omni a bit of time to back out. Layla escaping with her life here. And now with 40 seconds left, it can be done. They have to keep this momentum going, CeeJaey. They have to basically go non-stop as Poker is going to have something to say about it. He finds Strano, but that is it. Middle and Poker down. Only 5 up now for Omni. However, 5 up for Real Lads as well, but they pretty much have to keep committing to this. 20 seconds left now, CeeJaey.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight. I'm not sure if it's physically possible, but it's going to be damn close. 15 seconds as they're coming down the slope now. Aleski has the high ground. Sprayer goes down. Viljack with the huge plays. Just coming in behind. He's going to clean up Murphy as well, surely. And everyone else just has to look in. The Uber's popped off by Layla. She's just doing that for safekeeping, keeping everyone alive, not allowing any more count time to go down. And that is going to be the first round to Omni5. Maybe closer than we thought. I mean, you know, I'm going to have to apologise, doing a disservice against Real Lads there. Maybe I'm not experienced as much in 7v7 to understand kind of the default times that are going around on payload maps. But, you know, Real Lads potentially there with another, you know, half a minute, could have won that. So, you know, it's still not out of the equation. Obviously, Real Lads need to do something huge to win this. But, you know, it's not gonna feel great, Chando, going in, losing the round, of course, but they're gonna be feeling better than they were before because, hey, there's the potential for the win there.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to be a sense of optimism in the Real Lads kind of mumble Discord or wherever they're hanging out. You know, to actually have a time anywhere near as good as Omni5's just then, it's still a pretty incredible accolade, I think, for them. And they could definitely kind of keep this momentum going. They are on the attack again, so if they can more or less recreate what they did last time, they could be looking at a win here. That being said, you know, the defense for Omni5 was also very good. And maybe Proki especially turning up a lot. If he can turn up more so on this first point, they could be holding it for a little longer. So very hard to predict the outcome of this next one. But both teams, I think, going to be coming into this optimistic at the moment. Both playing so well to the highest ability. And as I said, no one's really beefing too much. I think, as I said earlier, Real Lads might be throwing a few players, feeding them a little too soon. But overall, individually, I don't think there's anyone on either of these teams that lacks the talent at the moment. They're all playing to a very polished ability, and it's very great to see as these doors do go open into the second half now.
I'm really sorry to interrupt, but I just have to say, we still don't see an engineer out of Omni5. 2 of their players there, Vclox and Poker, killed themselves like they were suiciding for an NG, but there is no engine. Layla's so weak there, it goes down to about 15 HP. Vclox with the insane reflect on that Beggar's Bazooka to take down, so they do kill the 4 players coming in there, make that 5. But Layla just said, yeah, there was suicide in pretending there was an NG. I think they kind of failed the bait when they typed in saying, oh, I hate having to suicide for NG, wink, in the chat. But yeah, really interesting to see payload defense coming out of Omni5, not deciding to run an NG, and I think it's playing with fire there. You have a lot of defensive tanky ability removed from the equation. They're deciding to play more kind of DM based and revolving around that, and I think that's why we're seeing these defenses maybe not as solid as potentially they could before. But Proki, great opening kill onto Kuni there. The Uber is used onto Murphy. Sprayer is trying to keep him flash, but Vigloc's doing a great job just pushing him away. Poker gets 4 kills, takes down Murphy's right at the end there, and Vigloc's with a couple of kills, reserve shooter, and then the flamethrower onto Sprayer. Layla did die in all of that chaos, but I don't think Omni5 are going to care because they're just playing it DM based. They're just kind of just running around as a unit and just picking up frags where they can.
Absolutely, they're still very stubborn to hold on to this, and the lack of sprayer for real lads is going to be really troubling. That being said, Joen does go down to a nice body shot. Poker as well, along with middle, all getting picked off here. Probably the biggest, tankiest DM classes on the Omni5 squads. It's just up to Viljack now. Instantly finds a rocket by Nubby, followed up by Murphy there. They're going to have to back this one up as Murphy just steamrolling forward in off those doors. They got to anticipate that. Yes, they have, and they're already getting ready to set up on the 3rd point as expected. Yeah, like you say, still no sentry, missing out on as you said, like a lot of tanky defense. And it's a big problem because these bombs are really effective, actually. Both times that they were playing on that 1st point, Layla just got forced almost immediately because there had no sentry. Was a big problem. It's so easy to force the medic when you know exactly where the medic is going to be every single time. These players have played Badwater hundreds and hundreds of times. They know exactly where that medic always holds, and probably the only thing particularly stopping a force is usually that sentry. But as we do go into the 3rd point now, it's going to be pretty standard setup here with Poker playing on the right flank, kind of overlooking everything. Kunu does find Proki, so Kunu's going to have a bit more space now to push from the main track there. They do use, that is the Omni squad there, they kind of get forced off a little bit. They have to back up as Poker is so weak, and the counter Uber comes out now. It's just V-Clocks, he's going to get caught out, and he gets picked off there by Strone, and Middle trying his best with the buff banner, but Strone just doing a brilliant job of deflecting everything that comes his way. And they're doing really good here as Joan gets caught off as well. Headshot by Kunu. Poker getting found out as well. Looking very strong now for Real Life if they can take this.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much damage coming down, and I think if Omni5 hold on to this, or at least all of this time they've bought on the 3rd point, is because of middle. He's running with the battalion's backup, so when that Uber came in, he used it, and him and Viljack just cleaned up a bunch of players. Like, they're just insane DM, but having that battalion's backup means you're not taking much damage either, and middle picking up some crucial kills there. Kuni trying to open the way again, headshot onto Joe, should be enough for them to get the cap here. But middle again using that battalions just to get some damage down, and the Uber's going to come in as well. Viglox cleans up the pyro. They have actually had to give up the point, but they've managed to take the ground, and they are going to hold this corner now. But they haven't got a sniper, which is probably the one class you want there. But look at Puka, he's getting so far forward. Oh my days, he takes down Murphy. That's going to totally stunt the push from Real Lads, and this slim Uber advantage is pretty much worthless when you don't have your demo man to lead the charge. But that's not going to stop Sprayer and Strone trying to take this choke.
Opting now to move around that tire area, I guess is a better decision if you don't have your demo man, because obviously with this pro version you can just walk straight through the staircase, so it's probably a good thing to make if you don't have your demo there. He is actually going to respawn in time, and as I say that though, Layla coming on to 90%, and the plan has been found out. V-Clocks finding the entirety of the Real Lads squadron there as the Ubers do come out. Strone gets found out and they have to back this up. Murphy jumps away, and Poker playing in the map room along with Proki finding Kunu, but good picks however, as Proki also finds Eliski. Murphy goes down as well to middle, and well defended there. A good decision by V-Clocks, kind of watching that stairwell, because if he hadn't really noticed that quick enough, they could have been in for a pretty big disaster.
I know, I mean, it's interesting because Joe is getting really aggressive and just launching in, doing a bunch of damage, and that's creating space for Proki to just deny everybody, and Viljack is just cleaning everyone up. I mean, we talked about how well he did on Coldplan. He's still doing it here on Badwater as well. And Middle is just running this battalion's backup, staying alive. And when, there's something going on, being contested in the choke, they're using the battalions to kind of make it effective for their team. We actually do see a push here through the back stairs, but it's a choke. You can't walk through a choke when you don't have Uber yet. We see Sprayer only at 77%, has to run away. Viljack is on the chase. Can he get him? No, he decides it's not worth it, as he has regrouped up with Nubby now. But Middle finally goes down, 6 kill streak there. Took down Murphy. But yeah, in the end, I mean, I just think they're just, I don't want to say getting out DM'd, but the damage coming out of Joe and the cleanup coming out from the rest of the team, they're playing in sort of 2 waves. Joe goes in and creates that space with V-Clocks, and then the rest of the team is just kind of cleaning up afterwards. And Middle and Viljack have really good coordination, and it's just working out well for them.
Absolutely, but look at Proki there, finding frag after frag after frag, and now playing very deep there. They find Strane, they do lose V-Clocks, but Joen's going to be leading this charge. Kunu falls to Middle. I think he wants to keep going. He wants to find Sprayer. He jumps ahead. Can he find the pipes? He finds one. Sprayer still hasn't used now on 28 health. And there's the drop. What a frag by Joe. Okay, if he can get out of this, I am so done. No, he can't. Thank the Lord there. Joan does fall, and so does Sprayer. Really well played there. Joe Zone is being called in chat, and Joe Zone it is. CeeJaey. I didn't know what that meant until today, but I'm already on it.
I called it. I mean, it doesn't matter what game you play, there's the Joe Zone. Okay, he will just go and he will either die or your medic will die. Like, it's going to happen. We see Nubby there with a nice frag onto Posca. So actually only 4 up now for the defending team. 1 player extra. We do see Nubby just jumping around on top. He's in a decent position, just trying to face some space. He does pressure Porky. There you go, sniper down. He does cost him his life, but that's a good trade for any soldier in this game mode. And we see V-Clocks actually doing his best, but it's not enough. Kunu manages to get in and get the headshot onto Layla. No medic now. This is a great opportunity for Real Lads to get in the car. Only Middle is alive, but he's in a good position in map room. He's just going to try and contest Strono, but with that bio, he's able to reflect his bullets, and it's not enough. Mezzo cleans him up, and they are going to capture the point. 750 is a much, much longer time than we saw in that first round. And I would say Omni5 are feeling confident that they're going to be taking first place on this round. They just need to win the game faster than 750.
And then that is it, if I'm mistaken. They have won the RGL Grand Finals, and with it, the massive prize pool, well, for Highlander anyway, of I believe it's $1,000. And
yeah, the first team gets 350, second gets 275. So when you're splitting that 7 ways, there's a fair bit of difference between first and second. So, you definitely will be getting that top prize. That's definitely going to go towards, some hats or whatever it is you spend your money. I don't know what people spend their money on. I mean, if it's not hats, then I don't know, food or something, I guess. Yeah, MVM tickets.
I guess we need to eat, don't we?
I guess you need to eat, otherwise you pass out and you can't look at your hats. But we do see the defense coming out of Real Lads, and this time they're sticking with it. Mezzo not playing scout, he's going on engineer. Much more solid defense theoretically, but we saw it didn't really help them when that force came onto Sprayer. So I have to see, V-Clock's actually running the spy at the moment. So Viljack, the first person to die, he's not going to get much cap time doing that, but V-Clocks may be feeling that thermal for us to play on the first round didn't really do much. So now he's going on to Spy and maybe looking on who he can focus. Cooney not running the Razorback, maybe not scared of a Spy. V-Clocks actually decloaks, he comes in and gets taken out by the sentry. Doesn't even get close enough for a sap. Everyone else launches in and is taken down. Sprayer untouched, Sprayer still with 100% Uber, and time ticking down.
Yeah, and I mean, as we can already see, Real Lads holding onto this first longer than Omni5 did for the past 2 rounds as well. Just that sentry makes all the difference, as we've seen. As the second bomb comes in now, sentry does go down. Sprayer weak, not even that weak, but he does force. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the perfect bomb you can ask for there. They got the sentry. That sentry's going to be back to level 1. That's going to take a while to get to an effective level, and they don't have that Uber now. And now with Layla with 100%, once these respawns come in, they can start walking this through. They are opting for the tunnel push there. No Kunu as well is going to make this so easy for them just to walk onto the point, as the Uber does get used. They're going to wrap all the way around now. They got to deal with that sentry. Already back up at level 3 is actually quite impressive, to be fair. They do lose. They get Sprayer, they get LSK as well, so 2 really good picks. If they can find Strano, who's in a very good position. Yes, they do. Got Layla, but Viljak quick on the reflexes there as Poker and Proki both fall. But can they take this? It's just Navi they got to deal with. Maybe Murphy as well. Viljak's on the cart though. That's going to make a big difference, and he's going to take it. 6 minutes left. I think they can do this, CeeJaey.
I mean, that Uber did nothing. It was used so early. There was no reason to use it that early when you've taken down the sniper already. Aleski picks up 2. Joe and Layla, that power couple, are now down. So it's going to be difficult to push this second point. I'm not sure if teams decide to do a second point hold here. They may be able to do it as they do have the heal advantage and the player advantage. But the Uber was used so early that by the time they reached anything of note, which was the sentry, you know, the Uber was basically worn off and they couldn't deal with it. They didn't have that damage there. They had a scout and a pyro, and everyone else just died. And Mezit was just whacking that sentry, whack with the wrench. As we do see a P come out, Aleski covered in P gets taken down middle with the huge bomb. He takes down Sprayer with that final rocket, and he also takes down Mezzo. And Vilder comes in to clean up some more. Middle is finally going to go down to Murphy, who's still alive. He can rain some damage down on the cut, but he's separated from his team. It's going to be really difficult. He tries to jump in. Can he get anyone? Those pipes aren't going to magnetically charge themselves towards anyone this time. And we have Layla with an Uber advantage.
Look at V-Clox's positioning though. Sorry to interrupt, but he gets an absolutely nutty reflex. No, Nubby just was not expecting that, and they still are not. Oh, in fact, actually, yes, they were. LSK just instantly knows exactly where to find V-Clox there. But well played anyway. Gave them a lot of space. Nubby was the only person who could have potentially contested that, and taking him down is a big deal there. So they're going to be able to take this third point very, very quickly indeed. Probably the hardest point to take it, and they're going to have an Uber advantage to roll into the last point. Just got to push that card up a little bit. Now they can get going. It is still 7v7 at the moment. No one's falling. Everyone's playing very cautiously. V-Clox on the respawn. He is going to be there in time. We can assume, yes, he is. Middle does go down. It's going to make things a little bit harder for the push here. But they still have the benefit of that advantage as they loop round into Stairwell. No one's really noticed them yet either, and the Uber straight out. They're wasting no time. Murphy not in a good position. He can't get flashed. He finally does. A poke goes down. Not looking great now for Omni5 here, as Layla and Joan both fall along with Viljak. They only got the cart so far. They really wasted an opportunity there.
V-Clox with another reflect kill. He's just being a thorn in Nubby's side. But do you know who won that round that time? Or the won that push? It was Mezzo. His sentry's still doing work as he's still dead. I mean, he died really early on that push, but he's on NG this time. He's not on a different class. He's switched back to NG for this final point, got a level 3 up, and he died in that Uber, but his sentry just kept shooting things. No one focused it. And because Omni5 took such a long time to walk forward, as Murphy just gets melted there, combination of Middle and V-Clox just walking forward, and Poker actually tries dropping down, but that sentry is causing problems. Omni5 took way too long. They had a huge Uber advantage, but because they took so long, they had a sentry to contend with, they had an enemy Uber to contend with. Proki is dominating Kunu and has made some space. NG is down again. Finally, that sentry does go, and they do get a force onto Sprayer. So Layla at 95% can regroup with her team, and this could be the game, the season-winning push, Chando.
Absolutely, there is a possibility in the air at the moment as LSK completely caught out, going to fall down to V-Clox. Sprayer is really isolated as well, playing on that top area. Finally finds Murphy, starting to get some time on point though, and Nubby is in a pretty good position, but he's very weak. However, he might have to try and back out to spawn, and he hasn't really got the time for that. V-Clox does go down, as does Poker, as Sprayer just kind of drops down out of nowhere, and they have actually somehow defended this. I didn't think it was possible, but really well played there by Kunu. Some getting some good picks. Sprayer actually finding Middle as well, and Joan going to go down to Mezzo on the cleanup. Like really well played there by Real Lads. And with 2 minutes left, the pressure is on a little bit now. The Omni5 squad to regroup and actually try and make a successful push here.
Yeah, they've got 2 minutes on the clock. They just need to get that cart a little bit further. You see, Aleski isn't even helping his team right now because he has to stay on that cart. Someone needs to stay on that cart to make sure it doesn't reset and get pushed closer. They have to have that, backing away. Nubby does go down. He's trying to get aggressive. We do see another spy play. This time it's Middle, so not going to be Viljak the former Spyman. He goes onto the cart, he gets a Lesky, and he actually gets some cart time. He's reset the cart, he's pushing the cart that Uber's used. They just realize what's going on, so he removes that problem from the cart, and he gets some camp time down. Uber used as well. Layla again with an Uber advantage. She's at 90% right now. She has 3 players missing from her team, so it's going to be interesting to decide what they do here. Middle respawns this time onto the soldier, deciding he wants a little bit more damage potential coming into this final push. It has to be this push, really, Chando, because if they don't make it work here and Sprayer doesn't die, they're going to have an Uber just to block this car.
Absolutely, and Vicox instantly goes down to a sticky trap there by Murphy. Really well placed and well looked at there. They do lose Strono, but it's straight on to the point. I wasn't even watching that, and they're going to take it. And they are going to take with that the RGL Prolander Grand Finals for Europe. Congratulations to Omni5. Yeah, wow, really well played there. Absolutely stellar performance from every single player, not only on the Omni5 winning roster, on the second place roster, which will be to Real Lads, going to be making that runner-up. They did a hell of a job, but it was not enough. CeeJaey, have you enjoyed this today? Because I certainly have.
It's been exciting. It's been exciting. That final push was like the classic competitive tier push. It's like, hey, I'm going to take Uber and I'm going to run at the enemy team, and they're either going to die or they're going to have to run into spawn. And you guys behind who are un-Ubered, just push the cart for us. You know, it works in any game mode where you cap the point, you push the cart, whatever. But the focus is on those Uber players, and the strategy was just there. They sealed it out with the push. And yeah, Omni5 undefeated this season, only dropping 1 map in the entire season. That was in the semi-finals against Wasp. They did lose, actually, I think it was Badwater they lost in the semi-finals. So, you know, this wasn't done and dusted. Clearly their strat not running an NG and not having that many off classes. Maybe there's some sort of holes in the armor there for teams to expose in the future. But Real Lads weren't able to do that today. I think arguably these are the 2 best teams from the season. This is, of course, the inaugural season of RGL. We had that first cup, which was won by this Omni5 roster under a different name, but they were picked up by their sponsor. You know, potential was seen there already, and they've come out this season undefeated. And, you know, they've really shown why they're good at this game mode. We could take a look at the logs here from that final round. And top fragging was actually middle. You know, the soldier who off-classed the spy there for a little bit. Or I'm looking at the wrong ones, I don't know. But no, I think these are the right ones. And we actually see Mezzo there running that sentry a lot more often, you know, picking up a lot of frags, and actually gets the second most frags on the server. And you can see it's from those classes that had to be more defense-minded there. You know, Kunu going 16 for 9, doing very well. It looked like Proki was the guy popping off there towards the end. But Kunu picking up a lot of frags himself as well. Nubby with 15. But it's just kind of the strategy there. Both teams getting same amount of kills, both getting 82 kills and essentially the same damage, 30,000 damage each, you know, give or take a few hundred. So really well played by both teams. But I think in the long run, Omni5 are definitely the team to beat in Prolander at the moment in Europe. And they definitely deserve the lion's share of that prize pool.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, really, really well played there. It's kind of what I was expecting. I think that any team that's led by Joan and Layla are going to have a lot of greatness ahead, especially if they are so keen, as keen as they were in ETF2 HUD and UGC. So the fact that they've really given this sort of Prolander, this new, maybe slightly experimental game mode, a try, and it's really paying off for them so far. And I really hope that we can see some more really motivated teams in this league here, because actually I've enjoyed it far more than I've expected to cast. I'm sure it's an absolute delight to play as well. And I'm really looking forward to going into the next seasons that are ahead for European RGLs. And I really hope that we can have it here some more.
Absolutely. And $1,000 prize pool, you know, denominations, I don't care, 1,000 bananas, whatever, prize pool coming in for this first season. You know, $350 are going to go to the winners. Omni5, 275 is going to go to Real Lads. Coming in runners up, no shame in coming in runners up in this situation. I mean, you come up, there's a clear favorite coming into the season. They've only lost to them. They're the only team that they lost to during the season. And they come through the playoffs. They managed to get to the final. They put up a good showing. There's a couple of moments on that first map, Coal Plant, where you thought, okay, they could potentially do it. But Omni5 just looking way too strong in the end there. And on Badwater, hey, that first round, anything could have happened. That lack of an NG on defense, I think, really makes the opportunities for different plays. But then we showed the strength of the NG on defense from Mezzo. So there's all these different opportunities to kind of come up with the strats that are going to be the beneficial for your team. But yeah, like you said, a team led by Joe, he's played in 3 ETF2L Prem finals. He's won UGC Platinum, and now he's won Prolander. So, the guy knows how to play this sort of game mode. If it's payload and King of the Hill, and there's things like pyros involved, hey, he's going to be good at directing people what to do. But we are joined by a couple of players now. We have Kunu in the Mumble with us, who was of course the sniper. Didn't off class during that game, just played the sniper for Real Lads, who came runners up. Commiserations. We'll have a chat with you while we're waiting for some other people to be joining. How did you feel in that game? Did you feel like coming into it, like Omni5 were clearly the team to beat, like all season? Did you see them as beatable today? Did you kind of at any point during the game feel, you had the upper hand, or what?
Well, of course, Omni5 are beatable. I mean, even though they're the best team, as far as I'm aware, no one in this game mode scrims. It's just played the officials for fun. So, I think, considering the fact that a lot of us have better DM than them, Porky, we confident enough to get at least a couple of rounds in there, at least make them worried. But fortunately, we could not do that.
Where did you feel the game kind of slipped out of your grasp? Because there was a couple of rounds on Coal Plant, which, they were close. And obviously that first round on Badwater, I called it early and said, oh yeah, Omni5 are just like, they've stormed that, got a really good time. But you guys pushed it all the way to last. What was the main issue for you playing in that game? Was it DM? Was it strategy? Was there something you would have done differently in hindsight?
I think it's just the fact that no one on the team really has a solid mindset of how to play, like, the meta, if there even is a meta. Like, the Sprayer is that was the first time he's ever played Sevens in placing again this season, and he just came in for that game, so it was kind of difficult. Mm-hmm. So, like, after, the fact that myself and Sprayer kept dying to Viljack on Coal Plant, that was really frustrating. And then, like, as soon as they got, like, the 3:49 time on Badwater, it felt like it was lost in my eyes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a kind of a bit of a mountain to climb. We're also joined by your teammate Sprayer, of course, playing medic on that Real Lads team. I was just talking to Kunu about where he felt the match was won and lost. Looking back yourself, kind of from a more combo orientated kind of view, what was the problem with the team kind of on Coal Plant and Badwater? Like, was it the same issue on both maps, or was there something you felt, we should have done that differently and we would have won?
Well, I'm not sure really how to play this game out in particular. I think maybe I played it once before, but I think the problem is that people sort of didn't just enjoy it. I think they kind of couldn't enjoy the game out in general and just have fun, instead of trying to come up with some strategies, and it's really too hard to make these strategies come true. Especially, like, this is a bit different from Highlander anyways, so I think the most important thing was just to have a general idea and just adapt to the situation, which is something I don't think we did correctly. But I think by the end of the game at Badwater, like especially the last holds, I think we sort of got a bit the hang of it. I think if our team would play more games in general, I think the result would be better. As I believe, like, DM-wise, I think it was fairly similar. Other than that, most of the time I was kind of confused to what was actually happening. But it was actually a pretty fun game, I got to say. This game mode, I think it has some potential.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is for a lot of people in Europe, at least, first season, bit of a learning experience. A lot of people in this game, played a lot of sixes, a lot of Highlander, and trying to work out, the differences, little different kind of tactics that are needed. We are also joined by two victorious team members. We have Joe and VClock's demo, and I'm going to say Pyro. You did play like a little bit of Spy there, VClocks. I mean, I'm going to come to Joe, as he's the team cat, so I'm sure he's got loads to say afterwards. But I'm going to talk to VClocks first. Why did you and Middle go Spy on Badwater when traditionally, apparently, in America, it's usually like things like the Scout? Is that like a team base? Because you guys never run NG on the defense. You guys off-class slightly differently to most teams that would normally play in Prolander. Like, was it specific strategy you guys have, or you just kind of play it by ear?
Mostly just play it by ear. We weren't expecting an NG, but when they pulled the NG out, we just thought we'd go Spy to sap it, as it's the easiest way to get it down. And I don't know if you noticed, but I forgot to disguise, so I died to the gun instead of sapping it.
I saw the first one where you forgot to disguise. The second one, you came in and Joe already killed the sentry, so you just kind of ran around waving your arms. That was really good strat.
Thank you.
You had some good reflex coming into the game. How different is it that you having to play Pyro in this sort of game mode compared to Highlander, where you're kind of traditionally more spy checking and being aware of stuff like that? Like, are you given more freedom? Like, did you feel you were able to just do a lot more in this game?
Yeah, definitely. Normally you're mostly just dealing with spies half the time, but I can just focus on denying Nubby every bomb. And as I've played 40 pugs in a row against him now, I'm pretty used to how he plays. And I think that helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in this game, I think, knows each other inside out by now. You guys have played against each other so much. And of course, Joe, you've kind of ETF2 Prem, I said before, 3 times in the final, UGC Platinum champion. Now you're an RGL champion. Did you expect to win this season coming into it? You guys won that sort of preseason tournament kind of thing. And then you got picked up by Omni5 as a sponsor. Did you consider yourselves the favorite the entire season? Was there ever a doubt in your mind?
Yeah, we were going to win 100%. Like, if we lost, it would be a disappointment.
Oh, yeah, that's confident. I mean, I'm not going to ask about the strats and stuff like that, but kind of how did you rate your team to play? Because the way I was watching watching you guys, I think I casted you in a tournament before, but when you played against the Ascent mixed team, first time I've seen you in this season of RGL. Do you just basically just want to play as a unit in DM? Or it seemed that Real Lads wanted to play a more Highlandery style where they had the sentry up, they just kind of went point by point. You guys just seemed a lot more fluid. Like, how much time and kind of effort did you put into trying to work out the nuances of this game mode compared to Highlander?
Yeah, it's like basically the same game mode as Highlander, but like when bans come into it, it's like a lot different. Like, we could ban like most of the pyro weapons, so like Sjono was like basically not able to do anything as he normally does, or like we banned all of the NG weapons, so we could just literally just push forward and like just let Porky kill the sniper, and we could just walk in for free.
I did point that out, actually. Me and Chando were talking about at the start. You banned the Wrangler and the Rescue Ranger, which obviously meant there wasn't going to be the potential for a tanky sentry, which allowed you to be a lot more kind of free and easy with your pushes, because that sentry wasn't going to last too long if it got a lot of focus. So yeah, it's interesting to see that kind of strategy behind the picks and bans. Coming into future seasons, you guys going to be keen to defend your title and remain 7v7 European champions?
Of course. We keep playing until
there's no money left.
Yeah. True.
I think that's TF2 in general, right? Like, I think a lot of people are just going now until there's nobody left. You just committed. There's all these game modes.
Yeah, Sevens is a lot more fun than Highlander, like I can say. So
It is very fun.
like the banning aspect of Sevens is like really, really fun. That's why I like it so much.
Am I allowed to disagree and actually say I prefer Highlander?
We're open to discussion.
It's because more people protect your cough, is that why?
Yeah.
There you go then.
I think when more people will get the hang of this game mode and the competition increases, I think like this has more potential as it's sometimes it's not just as boring as Highlander. Because it's just like in Highlander you have chokes sometimes and they can last a long while till you push one point or another. Here it's like it's sort of like a line between sixes and Highlander, which is kind of interesting. Plus, you don't have the same classes, and you have this weird ban system, which I just found out before the game.
Yeah.
And I couldn't use my arrows on Cold Hunt, and that was a weird experience.
How many times
honestly.
did you whip up the needle gun and like muscle memory took over and you shot a few needles at a team?
I think maybe
Be
like
honest.
three times. I
Nice.
think I've done that. Yeah.
That's less than I would imagine. Like I would just be constantly switching and being like, damn it, no.
I think it's
Some
I think s-
people, yeah.
it's been more of a problem for the actual like damage classes itself, just screaming, "I need an arrow," and then you're like,
Yeah,
"Wait,
yeah.
shit, don't have them."
One thing that Prolander has doesn't have, I should say, compared to other game modes is the lack of 5 CP. Today we saw King of the Hill map, we saw a Battlewater map, a payload map, and there was the potential for Borneo, which is of course another payload map, but there's no 5 CP. How do you feel about the lack of 5 CP in this game mode? Because 7v7 numbers wise is very close to 6s, where 5 CP is so prevalent. It's basically the only game mode. I mean, there's one King of the Hill map that's regularly played in Europe at least, whereas a lot of people playing the game mode, yourselves, are more Highlander players who've, made their trade as these kind of off classes playing in Highlander, where 5 CP is just kind of, a lot of people hate it because it's very stalemate. I mean, do you feel there's 5 CP potential in this game mode, or are you happy to see the back of it?
I don't think it should be in, because every map is so fast. The COF maps are always fast anyway, and payload times don't get any longer really than like 8 minutes, 9 minutes at most, and 5 CP would just drag on too long. It would just be too much of a stalemate, I think.
We play TF2 Reflux. We like stalemates.
This is true.
I think
I'd like to see it at least tried. I'd like to see Process and Gully at least tried in this.
Not Process, Gully maybe.
I'd prefer Process to Gully.
It's interesting. I mean, it's maybe something to be tried in pugs, potentially, or something in the future, but we can just move on now. We do have a comment to make on the other game that was played, which was Wasp versus Kitty. Two teams obviously well known, having played in UGC and Premiership and TF2 and UGC, and Wasp in fact winning their third place playoff, meaning they take home slightly more money. Kitty going home with $150, Wasp going with $225. They're your third place team in this first season of RGL Invite. Real Lads, of course, finishing runners up. Only 2 defeats in the entire season, and both of them against the champions Omni5, who take $350 home out of that $1,000 prize pool. And after only dropping one map all season, so check out season 2. They are definitely the team to beat. We're just going to move on now. I'm going to go to shout outs. Chando, you have been valiantly casting with me all night. Your first 7v7 game. Did you enjoy it? Do you have anyone to shout out to?
Oh, it's been an absolute delight, honestly. So much fun to watch. It seems like it was a lot of fun for the players, so I'm very glad to see that. And I hope to see it more in the European scene. Just big shout out generally to Critscast for the viewers as well. Thank you for tuning in and checking us out. I hope you enjoyed this peek at the Prolander RGL tournament. But that's about it for me.
Brilliant. Kunu, any shout outs?
Shout out to my team, Think Gaming. Maybe shout out to Real Lads. Maybe. And Essentials for the stuff they do and all the work they're doing for LAN.
Joe, any shout outs from you?
Yeah, shout out to Omni5 for sponsoring us. Shout outs to the cast. Shout outs to Sigafu. Never ban Iron Bomber again, please. And that's about it.
Sprayer, shout outs.
Well, I want to give a shout out to the Russians that played for the third place.
And finally, VClocks, any shout outs?
To O5 Pops and Star BSK for Omni5, obviously. Shout out to the team, and shout out to the other team for actually doing bans, unlike some teams that refuse to do them.
Brilliant. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to Critscast for this RGL Invite Final, the first season brought over to Europe. Sigafu's League with $1,000 prize pool, $350, the big top prize going to Omni5 winning the first season and so far undefeated in 7v7 competitions in Europe. So if a season 2 comes rolling around, they are the team to beat. Thanks to Chando, thanks to Wiethoofd for doing all of the amazing production in the background. Thanks for CeeJaey for organizing RGL, and thank you for the teams putting on such a great show. It was a very, very entertaining game. Thank you for watching. We'll have some more action in the future with UGC games coming up soon, so stay tuned on the Twitter and of course the channel. Give it a follow to know when we go live. Take care and we'll see you next time.